We're live. All right.
What did you say?
I said we're live.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to kind of keep an eye on the stream and then chat.
I can do that.
I don't know if you popping in, but just in case they do.
Water or beverage, anything?
I've got my water. All right, that's all fiddle with that. Okay, so we're gonna.
Leila, anything?
Whalen has said no. Leila, better.
All
So we're
right.
going to play a game called Caverna, which is a worker placement game, and I'll explain what that means in just a second. Actually, I need these. What color do you want to be, babe? There's
Okay.
purple, yellow, white, blue.
You guys, oh,
They
you
have-
guys already picked.
Yep.
I will do purple.
All right, if you could handle all the purple pieces and me the white. So, what we're trying to do is have the best dwarf habitat by the end of the game. So the game is played over 12 rounds, okay? And each round, here's what's going to happen. So you've got your pieces, right? What I want you to do right now, if you look at your board, you should have a few things. You're going to be the first player to start.
Okay.
Sorry, I really have most time. Okay. Thank you very much. So, first we're going to look at our board. This is your home habitat where your dwarves live, right?
Okay.
And so this is a cave system, and all these grayed out spots are parts of the cave that nobody can live in because you haven't dug them out yet. So one thing you'll be doing is digging out parts of the cave as the game goes on. Right here you can see you have a bedroom that can hold 2 dwarves and 1 pair of animals. And the pair of animals would be like 2 sheep or 2 donkeys or 2 cows. So you can have 2 dwarves in here and up to 2 animals. So to start the game, you're going to take 2 of your dwarves, these are the dwarves, and you're going to put them into that bedroom. All right. On the other side of the board, outside of the cave, you can see there's all these trees and a few other things there. So the other thing you'll be doing as the game goes on is chopping down those trees, getting some wood, probably, and then after you chop down the trees, you can build different things. They're usually pastures and meadows to hold animals or to grow vegetables. Okay. So as we play the game, the basic way it works is each turn we're going to take one of the cards here and flip it over. And what all of these things are, all of these starting ones plus the card we flip over, are the things you can do on your turn, right? So we'll talk about each one of these, but basically just know every one of these is a thing that one person can do. So if I go here with my dwarf, well, that means nobody else can do it because I took that spot. One thing I want you to do is take your extra 3 dwarves and kind of set them to the side, maybe put a stable on them, that's these little houses. Because you don't want to accidentally grab them. You want to make sure you're using the ones that are on your board. These are dwarves that you might have as part of the game later on, if your dwarves have babies. Okay? So to start the game, you've got your 2 dwarves, and we've got a bunch of things that we can do. Before I talk about all the things we can do, I'm going to talk about how you win the game, so you know what the point is. So to have the best dwarf habitat that there can be, here's what you need. For every farm animal and dog you have, you get 1 point apiece. So you can get dogs, sheep, cows, donkeys. Every single one you have at the end of the game, 1 point. So lots of animals, good. Next, for missing type of farm animal, minus 2 points. So if you don't have any donkeys at the end of the game, you get minus 2 points. If you don't have any cows, minus 2. The only thing that doesn't count are dogs. Dogs are not farm animals, so if you don't have any dogs, that's fine. You don't miss ones for that. Next, per grain rounded up, you get half a point. So these are grains, which you'll be able to plant on your farm, potentially. For every 2 of these, you get 1 point, and it's rounded up. So if you have 3 of them, instead of 1.5 points, you get 2 points. Vegetables look like pumpkins. Okay. For every vegetable, you get a point. Rubies, 1 point apiece. Per dwarf, so you already started, you have 2 points, but if you get all 5 dwarves, or there's even a way to get a 6th secret one, 1 point apiece. Per unused space, minus 1. So here's what that means. Right now on your board, you've got 3 spaces used. 1, 2, 3. Or 2, I'm sorry. 1, 2. All of these other spaces are unused. If you don't do anything with these spaces between now and the end of the game, every one of them is worth minus 1 point. So you want to dig out your cave and you want to chop down the trees on the farm, right? Okay. And then furnishing tiles, pastures, and mines. So as you knock down the trees and stuff, you're going to get different pieces. So for example, this is a pasture where you can keep animals, and it has a little symbol that looks like that. That means it's worth 2 points at the end of the game. And then inside your cave, you're going to get a few different things. Those. So inside your cave, you're going to get these caverns and these hallways, kind of. And then eventually you might get mines. And some of those things have point markers on them. And then all of these spots that look like this, you'll be able to build buildings in. They're called furnishings. And you'll see they all have that same symbol, which tells you how many points they have to the game. And then at the very bottom here, it says for parlors, storages, and chambers, you get more points. And if we look at a chamber, see it has an asterisk, it'll tell you how many points it's worth. So this says, if none of your dwarfs has a weapon when scoring this tile, you get 8 points. So at the end of the game, you would get 8 points if none of your dwarves have weapons, which we'll talk about in a minute. So you'll add up all those things, and then the last thing is you might get gold coins, which look like this. They're worth 1 point apiece, right? And you might get begging tokens. So your dwarves have to eat, right? So let's say it comes time to feed your dwarves and you don't have any food. Food looks like this. If you don't have enough food to feed them, you have to beg to do so. And when you do that, they're worth minus 3 points apiece. So that's a bad day. Okay? So that's the gist of it. You're trying to build up your farm, fill up all your spaces, feed your dwarves, and get through 12 turns of this game. So let's talk about what you do and how you do it. And I'm going to have you hand me some pieces here because we're going to set up the board as we talk about it. So the first thing we do on a turn is we take a card and we flip it up. Pop the rules to make sure that we are following along with the right. The second thing we do is we add pieces to the board. So I want you to help me. Let's just grab a bunch of stuff. So this symbol means that every turn we're going to add 2 pieces of stone to this spot. This one, we're going to add 3 pieces of wood. So I'll do this time, but Whalen, you ever watch? So anytime you see a symbol where it has an arrow like that, you're going to add the pieces, and there's one exception. So see right here where it says 2, and then it's got a 1 in parentheses?
Yeah.
That means if there's no wood on here, like right now, I'm going to add 2. But at the beginning of the next round, if there's already some wood on here, you'll only add 1.
Okay.
And then on the bottom here it says plus 2 pieces of food. Let's grab some of these. So I'm going to add 2 pieces of food. But see how this one doesn't have that arrow pointing? That just means it never gets more than 2 pieces of wood.
Okay.
Okay? Do that. And I've got 2 stone here. Growth. Okay, so this one is interesting here. It says, so we're going to have one of these, an ore, which we haven't talked about yet, a piece of food, and 2 coins. So this says you either take these or this. So I'm going to start back at the beginning, actually, and talk about each piece. Okay, drift mining. So let's say it's my turn. I'm going to take my dwarf, and nobody else has played here, so I'm going to play here. That means, first of all, I get to take all the pieces that are on this spot. Those are mine now, and I can use them however I want. The second thing this one does is it says, and or you can do this, which means you take one of these pieces, just like this, and you can put it wherever you want in your cave system. And the thing to note is, see some of them have plus food right there? That means if you play there, you get plus 1 food from the bear. So one time you do that. One thing to note is to build mines, you have to have multiple cavern systems lined up like this. So when you have 2 of these lined up, eventually you'll be able to play one of those on top of them. So when you're lining things up in your cave, you want to try and line these up together so that you can build these mines, which get money later in the game. Okay? So 2 of those lined up, eventually you'll build that. That's really the only thing to keep track of. The other thing to know is you have to build off of something you've already built. So either from the start of your cave or whatever, you can't just be like, I'm just going to build up here. If you haven't dug out to there, you can't do it. And the same for the forest. You have to dig out piece by piece. This next one is imitation. It says you pay 2 food. Again, these are food. And then it says you pay 2 food to use any action space that is occupied by an opponent other than the starting player space. So you pay 2 food, and so let's say I play here and you really want to play there. you get to do the same thing. The downside is, if I've already taken the stuff from there, there's nothing to get. You're just getting the other benefits. Okay, so here, you're going to take the 3 pieces of wood, and your dwarf is going to go on an expedition. We'll talk about what that means later. Here you take 2 food, or 2 pieces of wood, use 2 pieces of food, and that's all you do. This is called excavation. Take the stone on it. I'm not going to keep saying that. And then it says you can either place this piece, which we've been talking about, or the other side of it looks like this. And the difference is this can hold 2 different buildings, but can never have a mine on top of it, right? Are you going to be able to stay awake, Liz? You look like you're falling asleep. Okay. Growth. This one has an option. You can either take this whole pile of junk, right? Lots of stuff, stone, wood, or 2 points at the end of the game, or you can have a dwarf baby. Now, the only thing to know about dwarf babies is in order to have a dwarf baby, you need a place for it to live, right? So right now, you only can hold 2 dwarfs. You cannot have a dwarf baby right now because you don't have room for it. So to do that, what you would have to do is, number 1, well, you already have 1, but let's say you have this, so now you've got 2 blank rooms. All of these orange rooms are called dwellings. And when you buy a dwelling, you see it says room for 1 dwarf. So every one of these are the same. These just cost a different amount of money but aren't worth any points at the end of the game. But if you read some of these, this says it has room for 1 dwarf and 1 pair of animals, room for 2 dwarves, and this special one is room for the 6th dwarf only. So that means if you already have all 5 of your dwarves and you buy this, you can have a 6th dwarf. Alright?
Where do you get this?
I have to look. We'll just take an extra probably out of it because I don't think we actually have a 6th dwarf piece. So, to have a dwarf baby, you have to play on the spot where you can have a baby, and you have to have room to put for them to live.
So, kind of the growth right there would kind of be the best one.
It's good, but remember you have to feed your dwarves, which we haven't talked about yet. So if you have a whole bunch of dwarf babies but no food, you're in a lot of trouble with this game. Clearing. So, just make sure I'm putting these pieces on. So we add wood each turn to this, and then this is a new one here. So it says, and or you can place one of these. So this is how you knock down the wood in your forest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these spots will let you plant vegetables and wheat, and then these spots will let you house animals eventually, and we'll talk about how that works in a bit. This one has food on it, and you get a ruby when you play on that.
I like rubies.
And you get the starting player piece. So right now Michelle starts, right? But if you play here, you get to take the starting player piece, and then on the next round you go first. Okay? That's how you get that. And that can be important. Ore mining. So here, you get whatever ore is on there. Plus, every mine you have, and these are ore mines, you get 2 more pieces of ore.
Okay.
I'm not going to make it, are you?
She's going to do her best.
Say right, say right.
Alright. This one, so sustenance. So you get vegetables and wheat, and you get to put a spot here and knock down some of your woods. So when you get these, you're just going to get them into your bank area, and we'll talk about how you can plant them in a little bit. Ruby mining, so we're going to add a piece here. And if you have a ruby mine, or more than 1 ruby mine, when you take these, you get whatever's on here plus 1 extra.
How do you get a ruby mine?
We'll get there. Ruby mines, so
I said the same thing last
yeah.
time.
Ruby mines are going to be coming up later in the game, and I'll kind of talk about things as they come up, but the gist of it is, to build a ruby mine, you either have to build it onto this type of spot or here. The difference being, if you build it here, and remember I talked about, okay, so in order to build this, right,
Yeah.
you have to have 2 of these back to back, and then you play this on top, and then you could play a ruby mine on top of this. The difference between playing a ruby mine here and here is that when you play one here, you immediately get a ruby. Otherwise, the only way to get rubies from your ruby mine is when you play later. This is called housework. So this gives you a dog, which we'll talk about what you want a dog for in a minute. And you get to furnish a cavern. And what that means is you get to put any one of these into an open spot in your cave. However, you have to pay the cost for it. And the cost is listed in the top left. So for example, this piece, you would have to pay 3 pieces of food and 1 piece of wood and play on this spot. If you did all that, you're going to take this piece and it's yours. And the cool thing about this is every one of these rooms is unique. except this file right here. So, and these are unlimited. There's a bunch of these, including more. But so if you buy this room, so what does this do? It says for every time you get a stone, you also get an ore, which we haven't talked about what ore is for yet. But if you get this, you're the only person who gets that benefit. Nobody else will get it ever in the game. And so I'm not going to go through every one of these rooms, but I'll kind of go through the gist of them, and you'll want to look through when it's not your turn and figure out what do I want to buy with my stuff and how much does it cost. Notice that there are a couple, like look at this one, dog school. You don't pay anything to get it, so you can do that right away. It's not worth any points at the end of the game, and every time you get a dog, you get a piece of wood. I don't know, if you like wood and you're going to get a bunch of dogs, it might be worthwhile. Okay.
You have to feed your dogs.
No.
No. Okay.
Nope.
Or your
That's what I asked
No.
too.
Slash and burn. So this, what you're doing is you're taking a thing and adding it to your board, and then you get a plant up to 2 pieces of grain. Which you got it in here. So you have to have these in your bank, right? So you own the grain and you own some vegetables. We got some example here. So if I had these 3 in spots for it, which we don't right now, but you can take that. Hand me another 1 or 2 of these. I've got coffee.
Or let him reach all the way across the table. No.
Okay, so let's say I've got this and I have these in my bank. I could do that, that. And here's how planting works. When you do this, for every piece of grain you plant, you take 2 from the bank and add it on top. And for every vegetable you take, 1 from the bank and add it on top. So you're multiplying the existing thing. Sorry, also like that. So if I did this, I could do that. And I could even, if I had 1 more spot, I could do 1 more grain. Because you can do 2 and 2. Okay? So that's planting vegetables and grain. And this last one is called ore mine construction. So we've talked about to construct an ore mine, you have to have 2 spots like that.
Yep.
Bam. So you're doing that, and it says you get, when you do that, 3 ores. And then you can go on in level 2 expedition, which we haven't talked about. So right now, none of us can go on expeditions, but I'm really going to quick touch on what they are, because it's pretty important to the game, or can be. You have 2 cheat sheet cards in front of you. This one is your expedition card. Soon, either here or here, we're going to flip over a card. It's a spot you can go where it says you can make weapons for your dwarves. And to make a weapon, you play on the spot, okay? And then you pay ore. And it says you can pay up to 8 ore all at once, okay? So you pay your ore, and however much ore you pay, that's how good your dwarf's new weapon is, all right? And the reason you want good weapons is when you go on an expedition, however high your weapon is, that's how many choices you have for what you get when you go out hunting, basically. So if you have a level 8 weapon, that means you can choose anything from the top all the way up to 8 on the sheet. But if you only have a little level 2 weapon, you can only choose wheat or sheep, etc. And notice on the back here, it actually goes up to 14. When you go out hunting, basically, a few things happen. We look at this number right here, so that says 2. That means you get to pick 2 things, 2 different things from the card, okay, based on how strong your weapon is. And then when you come home from hunting, whatever level your weapon is when you start, it goes +1. So if you started at 8, you go hunting, you come home, you'll be +9 or 9 at the end. And on the card, you'll see at the very top, one thing that's easy to miss. It says after expeditions, all weapons +1. That's important because if you have 3 dwarves who all have weapons, when you choose that as one of your things, every one of them gets +1. Plus, the dwarf that goes on the expedition gets experience, and they get another +1 for 2 total. So you can see there's a lot of nifty things on here, some of which we haven't even talked about. It can be a really good way to play the game. There's no right or wrong way, though. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is feeding your people. We just touched on that. So for the first 2 turns of the game, we won't feed our people at all. They're okay. They're good. They're just you're gonna set up and get ready. Starting here, though, anytime you see the green symbol, that means, hey, we're going to do a harvest. And harvesting has a few things happen, and it's on this card. The first thing is if you have any plants in a field, you take the top one off of every one. Okay? The second thing, you have to pay 2 food, which are these, per dwarf. So right at the beginning of the game, we all have 2 dwarves. You have to pay 4 food to feed your 2 dwarves. Okay? Notice down over here it says 1 per baby dwarf. So let's say that I have played here, and I got a baby, which means I would take one of my other pieces and set it here. that dwarf, the new baby, only needs to have one piece of food that turn. But then for the rest of the game, it gets 2 pieces of food. Okay?
I
So
think you
babies
guys
eat
just
one.
got a donation.
Who got a donation?
Let me see. Oh, the HFG family donated $50.
Very nice. I need to send them an email when I'm done explaining this.
You guys are up to 200.
After you feed your people, any animal that you have at least 2
Hardly
of,
don't.
except dogs, any farm animal has a baby. So if you have 5 sheep, they have a baby. If you have
One.
2 cows, they have a baby. So it doesn't matter if you have 2 or 100, they have 1 baby.
It doesn't seem fair.
That's how science works.
It's not good.
Okay, so that happens though after you've done that. And here's something to know. We're going to talk next about where you can keep baby animals. If you don't have room for the baby, you can't make the baby. Just like your people. Now, this is important because I'm going to talk about feeding your people here really quick. To feed your people, you can kill your animals, right? But you can't be like, yeah, I'm just going to kill that baby right away and make it into food. No, the baby has to come out, live somewhere happy for at least 10 seconds, then you can kill it. But if you don't have room for the baby, you can't make it happen that way, okay? So, next we're going to talk about animals. Don't worry, you'll get a chance to ask questions after all of this. So, animals. Here's where animals can live. And this can be a little tricky, so bear with me. All right. Number 1, on pastures, which look like this. This is a pasture. They can hold 2 animals in that pasture. They can just live. Because they've got fences, they're good. You can have 2 of whatever here. There are large pastures you can get. We are somewhere in the box. Thanks for the help. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Harley's helping as well.
There. Okay. This can hold 4 animals. All right. You'll have a chance to build stables. There, you can't even do it yet. It's not here. When you can, if you put a stable in a pasture, it doubles its capacity. So now this could hold 4, or this could hold 8. You can only keep the same animals though. So you can't have 2 sheep and 2 cows. You can only have cows in 1 pasture. You can have, if you have this on your farm though, you could have 8 cows here and 2 sheep here as well. Okay. Next, remember in your house you have you can hold a pair of animals. All right. Dogs, they go anywhere. You don't need to worry about dogs. They can hang out anywhere on your board. Doesn't make a difference to start.
So they can go where it's in mine.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They only matter in one case, but you can have as many dogs as you want. If you get any ore or ruby mines, so any mines, every mine can hold a donkey. 1 mine can hold 1 donkey. There's a breakfast room tile. Remember? It's going to be right here. The breakfast room can hold 3 cows. Okay.
I don't want cows in my breakfast.
Next, a stable on a meadow. So a meadow is this. So there's no fence when you normally get these tiles. So if you put a stable here, it can hold 1 animal. A stable on a forest. You can just put a stable here. Later you could build under it, but let's say you just put a stable here. The only thing that can live in this stable is 1 pig. So a stable in a meadow can hold a pig, a stable in a pasture can hold any 1 animal, and a stable here can double the capacity of that. And finally, for meadows or pastures, you can ignore the normal rules. If you have dogs, dogs can watch however many dogs there are plus 1 sheep. So if I put 5 dogs in this space, it could hold 6 sheep. Okay? So that's what dogs do. They watch sheep. So however many dogs you have, add 1, that's how many sheep they can watch. That's that. Okay. Okay, so, I know we went through a lot of rules. It's a pretty rule-heavy game, but it plays pretty simple. So going back to the beginning, we add a card every turn that'll add a new option. We'll take turns starting with Michelle to start. She'll place a piece, then I'll place a piece, then Whalen and Leila. We'll go around till we've placed all of our dwarves on the board. Then after we've done that, we'll bring all of our dwarves home. And then if there's a harvest, we have to harvest our vegetables, feed our people, and have baby animals. And we do that again and again and again for 12 turns. And then at the end of the 12th turn, whoever has the most prosperous cave farmers wins. What questions do you have?
I think maybe as they go.
as you go. Really quick, just touching on the buildings. These are dwellings. That's places dwarves can live. These rooms deal with housing animals and furnishing your caves. These impact, like, when you get something else. So you just kind of have to read through them, and I'll answer questions if you have any. These give you more supplies. These parlors give you points based on animals, so like 1 point for 2 sheep at the end of the game. These give you more supplies in different ways, and these all these yellow ones give you points at the end of the game for having different things. So some are for not having any weapons, and others are for having weapons, and all different things. So for example, if we look at this, it says at the end of the game, you get 2 points for every combination of 1 vegetable and 1 fruit. I think that's, I might have to look that up. But. All right. Well, questions as well. Yes, but I'm going to check. I've got the appendix too if somebody has a question. But we're going to try and keep it rolling, and I'm just going to person an email really quick to tell them how to tune in.
I'll go first.
You said 50?
Mm-hmm. $200, guys, not bad.
Yeah, you're rocking it.
You haven't even finished one game yet. You're $200.
Give me just a second to get this email sent.
Do you know where you want to go? I'll place you.
I have no idea. I just need to do that and do this. And do that and that, add and send. Boom. There we go. Your thank you has been sent. Oh, and for starting supplies, I want you to notice me and Michelle started with 1 food, Whalen has 2, and Leila, you get to start with 3, and that's because you're disadvantaged, kind of, because you go last. All right, Andrew is going to...
Oh, Justin's disadvantage was first. Joking.
Oh, rubies. I'm so sorry. Rubies, so if you look at this card, rubies you can spend any time, and you can spend 1 ruby and buy any of the things listed on this card. So and on the bottom, you'll see some things cost a little more. So this costs 2 rubies to make an open cavern space, and it costs 1 ruby and a food to buy a cow. But rubies let you buy a bunch of stuff. So
Ruby is good for you.
Rubies are good.
Ooh, geez, so I might have to ask some questions of what you already said.
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, questions are good,
Questions are
and
good.
it'll make sense more as you go along.
Yeah.
I'm going to go here, and then, so I went there, and then I
And
can take
then,
one of these.
did he mention the bottom of the board here about what counts as what number of food?
Oh, I don't know if I did. So on the
So
very
there's
bottom.
a little illustration
Yep,
at the
so right
bottom.
there.
So it says a gold or a dog you can't turn in for food. That's the 0. But a donkey or 2 gold or wheat or sheep is 1 food.
Mhm.
And then it just goes along there.
Yeah. So the best for
And
food
then
is
this is also a good cheat sheet because if you need something, this is what you can turn rubies in for.
Mhm.
So use your little cheat sheet on that and it'll make
you can just ask questions as you go. I think after you take a turn, you write it.
Uncle Drew, you went?
I went. So you can go anywhere that other than where me and Michelle have already went. I
go here.
Okay. So you're going to take the starting player from Michelle, and you got your stuff, and it's Leila's turn.
Ha! We're gonna go. We're gonna go. Wait, is this supposed to be on here?
No.
I'm cheating.
You're starting out with an
cheated right at the
advantage.
beginning.
You're starting with an advantage for sure.
And if you have a question about any of the spaces, ask. It's harder to answer, like, what should I do?
Yeah.
That's a trickier one, because
Yes.
Everybody, you can really do
You
anything.
can do almost anything. There's no wrong way to play. There's a dog. Okay, so to furnish a cavern, so that means if you want, you can buy any of these things that you can afford and put it into your cavern.
Wait, so you can't buy any of these whenever you want?
Only when you play this space. Now, the only one you'll be able to buy right now that I know of is the dog school.
That's really big.
And do some others that are free. So, one idea, just to contemplate, if you wanted to wait, so if you went here or here, for example, you could get stone and then you could buy anything that costs like 1 stone on that next turn. The downside to doing that is Michelle gets to go, well, we all get to go before you. So Michelle, for example, could be like, no, I'm going to go there and I'm going to take the dog and I'm going to take that. So it's just a question of, do you want to do that and take the dog school, or do that and take no building and just keep your dog? Or do you want, you can change if you want and do something else first.
Can you take dog school? No.
What's that? No, you don't want the dog school? You're just going to take the dog? Okay.
No dog. So when I take a starting player, what does that mean?
That means on the next round, here, you'll get to go first. So
Hey.
now it's Michelle's turn.
Wait, so we can't go on expeditions yet?
Nope, not yet, because nobody has any weapons yet. So you can go on the spot, but you're just wasting that part of it.
Hmm.
But like here, these let you start building up your cave, which isn't bad. Rubies are never bad.
Rubies are never bad.
And then if you, one thing to note, Whalen, it sounds like you might want to go on expeditions. You pay for expeditions with these bad boys. So
Yeah, I was debating
that's how you buy your
I was
weapons.
debating on doing one of these three.
Okay, there you go. So now you get to choose. This is if you want to build more housing spots, and then the other side is if you want to get some mines.
Yeah.
And a hint is, build over this and you get a food right away.
Okay, she can get shooting.
Yeah, I think so. And then you get food, and Leila's up. There's your food up here in your bank.
Oh, okay. So
You're
here.
on to that. Okay, and so all of our dwarves have went out. Now they all come home, so you can take your dwarves and put them back in the home.
Oh,
And then we have to put the extra stuff back on again.
Yep, but before we do that, we're going to flip over the next card. The next card is sheep farming. So this is where you get to build pastures. So when you play here, you're going to buy things with wood. So for 2 wood, you can buy 1 of these bad boys. So to do that, you would just flip over an existing one on your farm, and now you have a fenced-in area for 2. You can also buy, for 4 wood, a double pasture. To do that, though, you have to have 2 pastures like this together, and then you would just put this on top like that. Okay. And then for 1 stone, you can buy 1 of your 3 stables, and remember you can put those in a pasture and double its size, put them somewhere else, and hold an animal. And you get all the sheep that are on the card, of course. And so what Michelle's doing, and y'all can help with this as we go, we just need to be organized about it.
okay.
She is just looking at the chart and putting the pieces on. But this gets 3 every turn, so this actually gets 2 more.
Oh, I don't think I put any.
Should have
Oh,
6
yeah, I
at this one. And this one should have 4. This is not 4. Oh no, 2 because I already took it.
So, is my turn now or not?
This means it will be here. It will be your turn once we're
3
done.
again.
Okay, cool.
Is that good?
2. So it's 3 or 2 if there's already some on it. This already had food, we just need a ruby on it.
Oh.
And the dog I need, and the sheep. And the vegetable.
Okay, dog, yes.
There we go.
Vegetables. Okay.
And Whalen. Where are you gonna go?
Where am I gonna go?
Wait, hold on. Did somebody took? Whalen, you took this last turn, so it should only have 2. Right? You took this one, yeah. Because you. Yes.
Where am I gonna go?
I don't know.
What do you want to do?
Figure out how to get the chat showing.
I'll go here. I just want to be extra careful with food.
And then he gets 2 food, right? You got, was there 2 food on that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so
Leila's
it now.
turn.
Leila.
I know what you're thinking. Build up to it, though. Build up.
What you want to do?
Okay, and you get one of these. And remember, if you build over that spot that has the +1, you get 1 piece of food.
Wait,
so
did I get? I don't think I did. I give.
I give
piece
you
of
one,
food?
yes.
Okay, sweet.
But it has to also be touching the entrance to your cave. So just flip it. Yep, perfect. And I did say, but there's some pigs here too, so you get those pigs if you play there.
Cool. Yeah.
So there you go, and then just go and grab 1 piece of food from the bank. And Shell is up.
I hate politics.
So we just need 2. Yeah, here's
Here,
some.
and take it. All right.
My turn.
Your turn.
Sweet. Where am I going to go? Oh shoot. Wait, was there anything here?
If you have vegetables or wheat, you can plant them after you place a field.
Okay. I think I might go here.
Leila? And then you can either place your choice, this one that gives you those 2, or this side that gives you more places to put housing and furnishings. Done. And for 2 seconds.
And I use this round.
Yep.
You have to be logged in for chat.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody good? Everybody comes home. Okay, next card is blacksmithing. So this is how you can get weaponize your doors, okay? So when you play here, you have to pay 1 to 8 ore, your choice how much you want to pay, and you get that level of weapon on the dwarf that you played there, and then you immediately get to go on a level 3 expedition. What that means is when you go on the expedition, you get to pick 3 different things from the card that you qualify for. So it's really good because you can go out and get 3 things and bring them all back to your phone. So we're going to start at the top. So 2 stone, 3 wood, 2 more wood, 3 wood, 2 stone, 2 stone there. Too good for this one. 1 piece of food. 2 gems. 1 and 1 here. Did you already get the ruby, or is that there from last time?
I didn't put a ruby on.
Ruby, sheet, and then we're done. There we go. Whalen, you are still starting player. So, one thing to note, at the end of this round, we're going to have a harvest. So we're going to...
Your mom wants you to splash some water on your face.
Okay, so
Where are you going to go when they come from you? Bad boy, where are you going to go? Right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so get 2 pieces of stone and you don't have a choice, you have to put it like that. So try and line up your
we
hallways.
have to put it like this way.
You just want the hallway it has to touch something that you already built into, and you want to line up the hallways together so that you can build a mine on top of them.
We want to do that.
That's perfect. And now, if you play here at a later time, that's when you get to build the mine. Leila? At least I don't need to worry that the game is putting her to sleep, because she was sleeping before we,
Yeah.
My turn? 6.
So Michelle's going to dig in all those pieces and find one that says 6. Just to be, oh, there's one right on top there. Oh, is that a 9 or a 6?
9.
Just throw them all over.
I don't. There's a lot of 9s.
I'm going to take this huge freaking pile of wood.
Maybe.
Oh,
Don't I get my expression?
You do. I just said no. It says like you can take those after like a reason. So Michelle's gonna kind of illustrate this one. So if you look at your card, she has level 6 weapon, right? So if you look up to 6, she can pick any, in this case, 3 things that are at 6 or above. And don't forget, you have to feed your dwarves at the end of this round. You're fine, Leila, you're fine. Okay, we're all fine.
So I'm gonna have a donkey and a dog.
Donkey, a dog,
And then I can upgrade my weapon.
and upgrade weapons. So you're gonna go +2 on your weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Michelle's gonna go from 6 to an 8 on her weapon, and Whalen, your turn, sir.
my turn. Oh, okay.
Wait. Yes, because I took all that one.
Okay. So yes, my turn. Where am I gonna go? Where am I gonna go? Where am I gonna go? Oh wait. So when can I put this line?
So if you play here, you can place the mine, and you'll get +3 ore. But you can't do an expedition because you don't have a weapon.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. You can place the mine right on top of your 2 hallways, and take your 3 ore. There you go.
Wow. 6.
Leila?
The dwarves are coming out.
Oh. Leila, starting player.
Ooh, look at that. You're getting the rubies, girl.
Where do I go? Where do I go?
No.
Kind of jealous of that starting player.
Are you skipping?
Oh yeah, I'm skipping.
Me?
it. God, thank goodness, because I didn't know where I want to go yet. Furnish Caverna. And again, when you have a little downtime, I really recommend kind of starting to look at these and asking if you don't know what they do. Because when you get to this point where, like Michelle is now, you have to make this decision, like, which of these things do I want to buy? And also it helps you decide what to save up for. So like Leila right now, you've got 2 wood and 2 stone, and you actually, remember you've got those 2 rubies? So you can buy pretty much anything. If you want to, you could be like, I want to buy a cow. Not saying that's a good idea, I'm just saying you could do it. So you could buy, and the things on the right there where it says place a piece, there's these single pieces, so that's saying you can take a single pasture and put it over a part of the woods, or a single field, or a single cabin. Right. What did you buy, Michelle?
Working pig.
Oh yeah. Sheep farming. I'm going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What are you buying?
Buying one of
A big
these
pasture.
and this little pasture.
He's gonna be getting a lot of animals, I guess.
Pig in.
I have a slow start.
It's hard to know.
It's hard. It's your first time playing. Okay. And that was the end. Now this is a feeding round. We know that because there's this. So before we come home for the new round, let me make sure I'm doing it right. Oh no, we return home first. So everybody come home.
Coming home.
Okay, I'm gonna note something too I didn't talk about before. So one of Michelle's dwarves has a weapon, right? The
Yeah.
dwarves have to go in order of lowest to highest weapon. So Michelle's dwarf without a weapon has to go first, and then the dwarf with the 8 gets to go. However, one of the things you can spend a ruby on is play one dwarf out of order. And here's why this is important. Let's say Michelle's first player, she may want to go here, right? Because she has a nice dwarf with a big weapon and she can go and get 3 things. But because she can't play that dwarf out of order, she'd be screwed unless she has a ruby, and then she could be like, nah, I'm going to go there. So that's why that's beneficial. Just remember, once you start getting weapons, that's where you want to go. So we're all home. We are going to feed our dwarves. So the first thing that's happening is I'm going to harvest crops. Flop, flop, flop. Like that. Next thing that happens is we need to feed 2 food per person. So I've got 2 food, but notice I only have 2 food. However, I've got this stuff, so I'm going to look and I can say, okay, this would be worth 2 food. This would be worth 1. Or I could kill my pig. I want to kill my pig. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to pay 2 food and 2 wheat is 4 total paid. Whalen, just paying 4 food. Leila, 4 food. Okay, so everybody's fed, and then the last thing that happens is if you have at least 2 of any type of animal, you get a baby. So you get a baby sheep. Anybody else getting babies?
No.
All right, here we go. This is a special one. This card is called Wish for Children. So with this you can either make a baby, just like over here, or furnish a dwelling. Furnish a dwelling, notice this one says furnish a cavern. That means you can buy any building. This one, you can only buy one of these orange buildings. Don't touch your eyes, you're going to get cat in them, and then you'll cry all day. That would be horrible.
That would be horrible.
And it's too late already, isn't it? Okay. 2 stone. 3 wood. 1 wood. On the board now. 3 wood here, 1 wood here. 1 stone. 2 wood. 1 food, 1 ruby. 2 ore. Vegetable and a wheat. 1 ruby. 1 dog. And 1 sheep.
Strong rifles?
Layla's number 1.
You mean check there? Or is it
No.
just being checked? Oh, did you get? No, that's not some of this. Oh, and notice at the end of this round, you'll need to pay 1 food per door. Basically, almost every time we're going to feed dwarves coming up here, except for 1 exception. So just get used to, you need to feed your buddies. Not feeding your buddies bad. Every time.
Oops, sorry.
Whalen, you're up.
Okay. What is there good? Okay, so I'll take this and then I get 2 more.
Look at you, you little ore mining maniac. Here's 2 more.
Leila.
I'll be right back.
We'll be here.
I'm sorry. What's this?
2 points.
Gold
Gold.
coins.
You can also spend it to buy food, but it's 1 point piece at the end of the game, so that's 50 points. When you go on an expedition,
Huh?
or 1 thing.
I have a question. Can this go right? Okay, maybe if I wanted to furnish a cavern, I can put this right here. I don't have to have something under it.
For what?
Furnishing a cavern.
With, no, it has to go on top of an empty spot. So it could go here. And then one thing for you to remember, if you do get a donkey can live in a mine. And you can build it. Once we get it, you can build a crystal.
And then does it go up to +9?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, how do I build a ruby mine?
The card's not up yet.
Oh, I see. Fair.
And my turn. I wish I knew where I was going with this. Could you hand me a little extra thing?
Which one?
Just one of the fields plus a. Yep. Thank you. Here and good. There you go. Yeah.
Okay. So, we'll start building it. So, I'm debating. Okay.
A little bit much moving on the same pieces.
Yep, keep going.
If you cover that piece of food, you'll
Which way
get
does it go?
that way. It'll give you a piece of food right away.
Like that?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
All right. And that's it. Everybody comes home,
No, I don't want to feed.
and everybody needs to feed each dwarf one piece of food. So I'm going to do a piece of wheat
okay.
and a sheep.
Phew.
There's one. And there's no breeding, no vegetables or anything. It's just that. And the next part is ruby mine construction. So when you play there, you get to build. And this is a harvest round, so we will harvest and then at the end of feeding everybody 2 things, your animals will have babies also.
Wait, so I just have to land on this to get like wheat and
To get wheat and vegetables, you go here, and this is where you go to plant it.
sweet. Okay. I might want to do that. Yes, I said that out loud, didn't I? So how much coal is there? 4, I mean, 4 or no?
3. This one's over here.
Two.
And you have your sheep already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Leila, you start.
So then I can roll it in, right?
Mm-hmm. And it has to go with that.
Yeah.
So.
So this next time we have to pay
2 per door.
Is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I'm making that decision.
stone. Two stone. So this is a cooking cave. At any time, I can change 1 grain plus 1 vegetable for 5 food.
It's a lot.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So what do I do with these?
Those are just in your supply for now, and then you get a field.
Yeah, nice stuff.
And then, for example, on your next turn, if you play here, then you can hunt it.
Can I do this?
Yeah, for sure. If you want to build a big pasture, you want to have two pastures
Lined up.
but that if you don't care about that, then you're fine. The other downside is now you only have a 1 spot here, which is kind of a pain to fill. You can do it, but remember you're trying to cover everything, so
You think I should change that, or should I not? Or
you can. After your turn is like next turn. Here, if you want this pig, you could go like this, and then you would get the pig, which could live in your house, and you get your pasture over there.
okay, so I'm thinking of
Pig, and you get the pig and live with you.
one of my favorite.
Leila, you are up.
I can do this, right?
Yes. So when you do this, you're not going to get a ruby right away because you're going to be building it on top of there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you just find the ruby mine. It's going to be, I think, on the back of one of those. I guess. Yes. It looks like right here. There you go. And again, you don't get a ruby right away, but next time you collect a ruby from here, you get a bonus.
So you just put it on
Either one.
Okay.
Michelle. Gonna pick her butts because she's a hunter.
I can do this because it's ore.
And while you're deciding, I will take my turn.
This and that. And can only sheep go there? Any?
All that can live there right now is a pig
In my stable?
because it's not on a.
Okay. Well, I don't want that then.
Oh. My pumpkin farm.
My turn?
Yep.
Okay, wait. So, what do I have to do to go there?
Since I went there, the only way you can go there is if you play here and pay 2 food to go there. Or wait till next turn and then come back.
Shoot, I am in trouble right now.
So remember, sheep you can harvest for a food apiece, so that would be 2 food. Actually, this would be 3 food because this plus a gem you can convert to 2 food. So that would be 3 plus you already have 2 food there. I don't think you're as bad off as you think. I would try and save your vegetables if you can.
Yeah. So I will.
You also have your pig, which you could kill for 2 food.
I'll go for them. When I do these, I take them. Where do they go? They go.
So you don't really have, you don't have a dog, do you?
No.
So I would just convert them to food right away.
Okay.
So you just put them in the bank and then you get 2 pieces of food.
Oh, okay.
You just butchering them up.
Trading them out.
Alright, and that's everybody. So dwarves come home. Harvest vegetables.
So what does my pig do?
So your pig right now is just going to hang out there.
Okay.
Because you already have 4 food, which is all you need
Are we feeding people?
for feeding. I'm going to convert these to 5 and take 1 change.
Wait, can a ruby? Can you?
Wait, what
can
counts
you
as
buy
food?
food with ruby?
Yeah, 2 food for 1 ruby.
Oh, great.
So
Oh,
for you, your pumpkin's worth 2 food, your wheat is worth 1 food, each ruby is 2 food, and you can buy 1 food for 2 points, the 2 gold coins there,
so how many food are we doing right
2 per gold.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna have a baby. Anyone else have any babies?
I don't have room.
And now, starting this round, we're going to flip this. So this will be a harvest round at the end of this round.
But not feeding.
Not, yeah, everything. Normal round, so harvest, feeding, all the whole shebang. And this is a donkey farm, so it's just like the sheep farm, except you get a donkey instead of a sheep. Here we go. 2 pieces of wood. I got the wood here.
Oh, okay.
2 pieces of wood, 2 pieces of stone.
1.
Oh, 1 piece of stone, thank you. 2 pieces of wood, I got. 1 piece of food, I got here. 2 pieces of ore. 1.
Whose turn is it?
So you already got this?
Yeah.
1 dog. And we'll need a sheep and a donkey. Okay. Alright. So remember, you will need to feed your people at the end of this round. Okay. At some point, I did not take my pig that I was supposed to. So does anybody object if I take my pig that I should have gotten when I played here?
No.
And then took the only 2 pigs. So we just got a baby pig.
A bunch of pigs.
Hmm?
Got a bunch of pigs.
So,
Can you move your things around? With these things, when can you buy them?
when you play here, you can buy any building that you can afford. And if you just want to dwell in one of these, then this is just for the orange ones. So this is anything, this is an orange one. Stone, just cannot get stone, and then you get a cave piece of that. It's just another, where are you at?
I'm going to play a ruby to find out.
And you're good if I go?
Yeah. Where's the ore mine? Here?
Yep.
Two choices. You can bring that down here.
I think when do I get rubies from my mine?
When you play here, you get +1 ruby anytime you play.
Oh, okay. So can I go?
Mhm.
Since you can trade 2 food into 1 ruby,
Mhm. The opposite, 1 ruby for 2
yeah.
ruby.
Could you do 2 food for 1 ruby?
No.
No.
She's inviting.
What? I'm not doing very well.
Mhm.
Kind of like a survival game.
Mhm.
Sure is.
So you know, Will, and I backed
Sure
off. I
is.
backed off for a turn for you, but I'm gonna play what I was gonna play.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm not
I thought
doing
you were gonna do something. You didn't do it, so. Oh shoot! I didn't want to do that. This is gross.
You know what? I know what I would have done. I should have done that. Ooh, she knew. Don't take it.
Well, I'm rethinking it anyway, so you might be okay. Cause
Or it might not even be it. I want a dog just because I like dogs.
I do too, Whalen.
Here. Let's see. Okay, is this where you thought I was going to go? Maybe.
No.
No? Or where do you think I was going to go?
Vegetables bunker. I'm not saying that was a good move. I just thought that was
Okay, so I'm going to set you there.
but your sheep
I
can't.
know,
Oh.
I'm just.
Oh yeah, I'm with you now. I know what you're doing.
And then
It's actually. Are you wanting a double or a single?
double.
Okay, yeah, it's gonna be somewhere.
It's where is it? Someone's grilling.
I know it smells yummy.
I know. Whalen, I'm trying to help you. Sorry.
Is it?
No. Maybe way at the end.
Jeez, what is going on with these?
On the other side of these?
Oh,
No, those are gonna be that. They're somewhere. Well,
are they?
Yeah. The little friends.
here you go. Yeah, now those are on top.
It's kind of hard to get back in.
Wait,
Now I
so
get
do you have to have four sheep in there? Or no?
Max can hold four.
Sweet. And it has to all be sheep right there, right? Sweet. Okay.
Good?
Yep.
Is that everybody? Come home, doors. Come home.
No!
Oh, get away from me. Other evil doors.
My,
Okay.
I can feed my dwarf with wood.
Harvest.
Isn't that weird?
Veg. Feed your doors.
I fed mine.
2 for each this time? Yeah.
Two apiece, yep. Four.
So I can get rubies then?
Ruby is worth two.
Yeah, you can
two
get
rubies
2
first.
rubies.
And then you have baby animals.
I don't get baby animals.
I don't either.
The only animal I have is a dog.
I have 2 dogs and 2 donkeys.
And here we go.
Where's the dog?
Sorry.
Four. This is wood.
How many goes on the bottom one?
One.
2 food.
One. On the bottom for wood. Bunch of food yet.
You did that.
Yep. Like that.
Wood. Slipper little suckers. What else?
2 wood.
Oh, we need a stone.
Yeah, we need stone there. Then
We're
two-
out of
two-
stone.
There should be some multiplier chips in one of those buckets that have like. Yep, those. We can use that to say like, there's 8 wood here. So
We need stone, not wood.
that's all the stone. I will give you an 8 stone for 7 of your stone.
Wait, so you just gave her one?
That's a marker because
6,
we need
7. Now put one of those stones on there, and that means that one stone is worth 8. There we go.
One stone is worth 8.
Yeah. Okay. Now I know why I don't have any stone.
Is that revolution?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this is for wheat. All right.
What do you think?
So Layla's turn.
Oh, I just.
It's Layla's turn,
I
right?
just put mine on there. We doubled.
How would there be anything else with this? Do you only add the
I think I've been
pumpkin?
cheating this whole time.
Yes, you have.
I owe the bank like 1,000 pumpkins.
Yeah.
Yeah. This should only have
Yeah.
this. And I shouldn't have
This.
this.
Oh my gosh, how many?
I'm
Why do you owe them so many pumpkins?
Because we've been stocking this piece around.
Did we flip a card?
Ooh,
What is it?
It is
Ooh.
for the river. And it is a harvest. So
Stone and coal?
stone and
Can I take this harvest and count it as a piece of food?
no.
The worst I
And
said.
you already did this, Ruby? I think we're good then.
Yeah.
Who's starting? Leila again? Yeah. Wait. Giving me the lesser chance. I have something going right now. I don't know if I want to go through the trouble of being a hunter. I mean, it can really help you, but
Nobody's really touched it except Michelle.
yeah. This is fancy view of mine. I have a decent living right now.
What I need is now.
Hey, so since you moved there, what do I have to do to get that
You have to play here and then pay 2 food.
Okay, yeah, I'm not doing that.
What is this Whalen? 2 wood and 2 stone.
So you can do a regular dwelling for 2 wood and 2 stone. Let me look at. I'll look it up in a minute. Okay, what number is that? Okay, with the weapons you can carry out a furnish an ordinary dwelling for 2 wood and 2 stone to build an ordinary dwelling for 2 wood and 2 stone instead of 4 wood and 3 stone. With this lead item, you cannot build any of the special dwellings, and you can only build an ordinary one on that thing. Well, that's really amazing, actually. So you still need cave space for it, but
I'm gonna do an area.
you're still working on your expedition. Whalen, so you're working.
Oh, it is? Oh, nice.
Michelle's still working on her expedition, but
That was fast. Okay.
wait. Oh, no, Leila's doing. Sorry, you just went.
I was like, what?
Oh wait, I'm gonna do a quick one.
Where is it my turn again?
It will.
Wait, so you do this one. What do you get? You get.
So you get the dog, and then you get to pay to build any building.
Okay. What should we do? I'm living the basic life. Okay, please nobody take what I was going to do.
Michelle, you're back up again.
So I
I was just looking at your run. Your run.
take one of these.
I'm going to do stuff. Going.
Sheep is blue.
Whalen, you're up.
Well, okay. Okay, good. No one took my sheep. No, did I want the sheep?
Sorry.
Yes, I hear. Yeah, right?
And because you're building a ruby mine, so one
Are
thing
you
to know, if you
helping?
really want a sheep, once you build this ruby mine,
You're a
you'll be
good
able to buy a
helper.
sheep. Because you can turn in a ruby for a sheep. There's your ruby mine. There's your ruby that you get for building it on your deep right here.
And this one.
What's that?
What else were you talking about?
So I was saying now that you have, well, I guess you have rubies. Don't forget you can buy sheep with rubies if you're hoping to have baby sheep.
How much is it? One, two,
Yep. Is that everybody?
Yeah.
All right, come home.
Okay. Go home, little boys.
And it's a normal harvest, so harvest the veg.
What am I gonna do? I don't like picking movies.
Feed your people,
Full amounts.
full amounts. Now feed them pigs. Yes, what do you want to do? So, 1, 2, 5, do this for them for 5 and 6. Okay. And babies. A sheep and a pig. Come home, and the next card is family life. So this card is going to flip over. So now you can furnish a dwelling and then waited 1 second turn. Do that, and this one lets you have a baby and or plant vegetables, and it is a normal harvest.
Why are they always normal harvests?
Here we go. Ooh.
Another one. Dang it, I really have to get that starting. Anybody but Leila get the starting, please?
You're starting to play this game. You took it.
What? I did?
Yeah, you did last one.
Oh.
So, did you already do this?
No.
2, 1.
Why didn't we want to have it? Because then it has to go all the way around.
I did that.
Oh, you did that? Okay. Sheep, here.
See a little bit more weight though.
Dog.
So the ruby. Never mind.
You're
means
clear
that
for
I
today.
get one
You're
more
clear
of
for
that.
today.
Good.
And then ormine means that I get more. Wait, two more of that.
So-
Okay. Wait, so if I play this, what will happen?
So don't forget you have to feed your people at the end of this round.
Yeah.
You'll take one of your extra people and put it there
Wait, where?
on top. And now you get a plant if you have things to plant. So you can plant your vegetables and your wheat.
Where? Just
Yep.
like both here?
One in each. And then you're going to put one vegetable, and then grab one more wheat. And those two go on top of it.
And wait, so how many of these counts as one health? One of these?
Each of those, when they come off, are worth 2, and those are worth 1.
Whoa, so like I'm already done? Like I
Well,
don't need any?
you only get to take 1 off the top of each one each time we do a harvest. So
Okay.
Leila's up.
Yeah. And what do you do with ore?
Or lets you build weapons, and then it also lets you buy some buildings. Not many, but a couple have.
Does it count as a turn to buy something? Like buy a sheep or buy
So
a
one thing to
donkey?
look at, Leila, like at the end of the game, this is worth 1 point per stone you have, which you've got quite a few stone.
Come stop yelling about it, honey.
And then I have an ore mine, so I get.
+2 for each ore mine you have.
Okay.
Mom, why are you yelling about it? So, and then I can do an extra one on that, but then both of them get one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So that goes to 7 and this goes to 13.
Yes.
Hmm.
Is that it? Yes, exactly. And Whalen, let's see,
I don't understand
Whalen,
this.
it's
Is
your
it her what?
Her-
Dwarf with a weapon?
Yes.
Stop
Stop touching the eye.
Sorry, I have.
I know.
I got
It
like
just sucks because I think
an
it's.
eyelash in my eye or something. I think
Well,
I got
if you
it.
need to touch it, just go wash your hands and get yourself in water before you do it.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you've got some cat on you.
I don't. I knocked it over. So if I play here, will I get 3 rubies?
Because you have a ruby. My score's going to get an asterisk by it because I cheated, so it's something.
Ah, food doesn't even matter nowadays.
You just feed your feet into it. Leila, what do you got?
Oh shoot, I have another person's together.
You only have to
Right.
feed them one food this turn, though.
Okay, that's it. 3 ones for them. Okay, so it's my turn.
I don't know that we put a stone and then an ore back on
Oh, I
that.
don't think we do. No, we don't.
It is my turn, right?
Uh-huh.
Yes, I did. Wait, how am I? Oh, I see. What is almost happening? No. I could. Ooh.
Does it automatically plus 1 then? On 13?
Mm-hmm. No, yes, it automatically plus ones.
After I chose my 2.
Yeah. I'm gonna get it together. No? Oh, is that everybody?
Mhm.
Okay, so bring people home. Normal harvest, so
The
then.
pig is taking up too much room.
So Whalen, you're going to take the top one of each your wheat and your vegetable off and put it in your bank.
I can just give her a rupee there. Wait, and put it in the bank?
No, in your bank. So now you got that.
Wait, what do I do with them? Wait, did we feed everyone?
Now you're going to feed, so you have to go 2, 4, 5 is your total amount you have to pay in food.
So what are these? What is this? This is 3.
That's 3. Mm-hmm.
3. You know what? 1, 2.
Just the rest of it, so you got 5.
I'm gonna get rid of this. With 1, 2, 3. Oh wait.
And we
Was I
get
supposed to be
babies
getting
this time?
ready?
Yep, and babies, so get your sheep.
What does it say?
Can you pay extra food?
At the beginning of the next 4 rounds, yeah?
True.
And so what you can do to remember that is you can put the gems right on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, from the bank though, because those are your gems you already own, right?
Yeah.
So put 4 gems on there because you get 1 at the beginning of each round. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So put 4 gems from the bank on it.
Do I get
and
an
then just at
extra?
the
Do I
beginning of each
kind of
round,
get
you
an
take one
extra
out.
turn?
Starting this round.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Okay.
There
And
you go.
hold on. You gotta do this. So
yeah.
exploration.
What is that?
So for expedition.
That's
And
funny.
it's red. So this first red one means no harvest. So we just skip the whole phase. So you don't need to feed your people this round.
You didn't want to see that card, did you?
I'm out of this. Okay,
I'm
Wait,
not
did
doing
you
that
put the
one.
rubies back on this?
we're going to. We're going to start here. So 2 stone,
Oh, I see. You have, okay.
3 wood, 1 wood, 1
Kimmy!
stone,
2
2
woods.
wood, 1 food, 2 wood. You got 3, 4. You did this?
Yeah.
You did your sheep already?
No.
And a donkey?
No. Okay.
Baby?
Wait, did I take my turn?
Oh, no, it's not my turn.
He's
I'm
cheating!
just excited. I want to have a baby.
Okay.
It's the first time I heard you say that.
This. There. So I take off 3 sheep. Put them in
Yep, they'll fit right there.
there. Okay, Leila, go. You were
You
like,
don't want to build an. Oh, you're good. If you have a stone, you can build a stable,
Stable.
and then you could hold
That's
up
a
to
good
8
idea.
sheep.
You should do that.
wait,
Unless you're
You
saving
turn
it.
in a stone and get a stable. One of your stables
Right
from
now?
your,
That'll go there,
just one of your green stables over there.
and then that'll go with your sheep, and now that can hold 8 sheep instead of 4.
oh, okay. Oh. A lot of sheep. See, it doesn't matter. I have too much right now.
Good. They're going to peace at the end of the game. And don't forget to take one of your gems off because it's the beginning of the turn.
I'm bringing out.
We'll see you tomorrow.
One.
Right. So now I can buy. Okay.
Come on, Michelle's going to go here now into that baby and plant.
Okay, so it's my turn.
Sir.
Okay, I'm gonna choose here. And I'm gonna say
Are you having a baby or are you?
the big.
So there is this other option. So this you don't get anything else here. If you have enough stuff, you could buy. Because you have a house for the baby. Wait, hey, Whalen, did you have a house for your last baby?
Do I? Because let me check. Okay, I might be cheating here.
Where's your baby living?
On the street. Wait. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do.
Have you built any houses?
What?
Only
Oh,
2
oh,
people
so I
can
know.
fit in here.
Okay.
So what you might want to do now, we'll let you kind of just fix it now. So if you go here, you can't have another baby, but you could build your house, which you
To
need to do.
hold the baby.
So we'll let you keep your baby, but you got to go here to build a house for your baby to live in.
Okay. I'm confused. So, there.
There, and then you have to pay and buy one of these houses.
My house.
So this is probably your best bet. You pay 4 wood and 3 stone. Because that's worth 3 points at the end of the game. And now your baby has a place to live.
Does it really need one though?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So you just kind of did reverse that. Nope, you don't get another baby.
What? Oh.
You just got place. You don't have place. You have enough for 3 babies right now.
Yeah,
3 people.
right,
All right,
yeah.
Leila, you're up. Mister, I want more babies. I'm not up anymore.
Wait.
Hmm.
So for this.
Oh, did all my guys increase then?
If you chose that.
After,
Who's
oh, they don't automatically.
Only
At
the
the
ones,
end,
anytime they go on an expedition, they increase.
but can you go higher than 14?
That's it. That's the end of it. What do you get at 14?
This.
have multiple farm babies. And you can just fill in a cave.
That's what I'm doing. I picked a good one for me. Do you see this?
Yeah, I can see that.
They're lucky. Go.
I've got some problems right now.
You do?
Yeah, I need a furnace place, isn't
Is it my turn now? I'm gonna do a cave.
I
Or
haven't had
mine.
food in a long time.
I'm gonna move my donkey over here too. And then I get 2. Maybe I don't understand the rules.
What?
I thought you said, so I get 2 choices, but then it automatically goes to 8 at the end of that turn.
Yes.
Okay.
But if you choose this, it'll go to 9. Why would you? I mean, you could. You're choosing. I'm going to go somewhere. I need some help. Okay, that's what I should do. Yes. In here. I need some donkeys. 1, 2, 3, 4,
You have a lot of wood.
5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This for my donkeys. And
Oh shoot, my 8 went to run away.
sheep.
It's a hateful little weapon.
And sheep. And we need to decide if
Okay,
we
then
build.
my turn?
Wait. I'm thinking about something.
Okay. Thank you. So, if you buy this, then you get 2 points again for each yellow one you
That's right.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that to put a stable. I'm really out of room for. I don't know where I want a stable. I guess here because I can mold more. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Oh wait. Yes, I'm done with that, and I'm just moving my stuff around because all my pigs are going to go in here. 6, and then these donkeys are going to go here, and here, and here. I'm good. It's your turn.
I know.
Getting to the end here.
I know, and I'm not ready.
So, we should
Did you go, Will?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm breaking home. This was the no feeding round, right?
Yep.
Make sure you have homes for your people.
Yes.
Next round,
My
ruby
baby.
delivery. So this one is another way to get rubies, and in this round,
Can I slaughter my pig?
you can,
Make bacon.
but we don't need to feed our people this round, so. I mean, you can.
We don't?
This next one. So this round, we're going to pay 1 food per door, but there's no normal harvest.
One food.
1 food per door.
Mine's free.
2 stone, 3 wood, 1 wood, 1 stone. We'll just leave this blank, and if somebody takes it, we'll give them this stuff. 1 wood, 3, 2 wood,
Next
1 pumpkin, 1 gem, and a sheep, and donkey. Two rubies. Getting close. So start thinking about your points, start thinking about avoiding negatives. And then you're still first place. So remember 1 food per person at the end of this round.
1 food.
And no harvest or anything.
Oh. strawberries. Do I put these on immediately, or do I have to wait and put it?
You don't get to put any on right now, so these are just in your bag. So remember, this is, you have to put here, but now you also get this to put onto your farm.
Yep.
And it's Leila. Is that really?
Then what do I do if I have to give 2 stones?
Oh, then you just need to give me a change. So you need 2.
Wait, what should I do with my coal?
1, 2, 3,
Silver.
4.
My coal. I have so much coal just sitting here.
You can use it for some building.
How much do you have to pay? 2?
Use it to
Yeah.
And you have 9
blacksmith.
total?
Yes.
9. So you're going to need 7 back.
Mhm.
What numbers are in there? There should be another different numbers, right?
4.
Yeah, just grab a different number. What do you got?
4.
A 4? So you need to pay how many?
I can pay 2.
Let me think for a second. So we're going to move this. So this isn't on anything. Now this is worth 4. We're going to turn in 4 and give you 2 change. Right? So you're 4, 5, 6, 7. You had 9, you paid 2, you have 7.
Mhm.
Okay.
My turn.
Yep.
Oh shoot.
I'm going to pay 2 food to imitate this face. So I need a dog. And then I'm going to buy 2 wood. I'm going to buy the parachamber. Okay. Whalen.
We're almost there, guys. We're almost
Can I
there.
put it all on?
Okay, you can do 2 and 2. So you get this, and if you want a pig, you can put it there.
Sure.
You get a pig. There's a pig. You can live in your house with you. And now you can put 2 wheat and or 2 pumpkins on. But you only have. Okay, did you just hold on? Did you already have a pumpkin there?
Yes.
So leave that pumpkin there. So you're gonna put a pumpkin here and a pumpkin here.
Oh.
And then from the bank, we're gonna add a pumpkin on top of each of those. Leila, you are up.
Wait, do I get a pumpkin on top of this pumpkin too?
Nope, because that was already there, wasn't it?
Yeah. So what do I do with this wheat? Nothing.
because you don't have
Okay.
room for it.
Wait, so is it supposed to be 6 here?
2, 4, 5. Let's say yes.
Okay.
Oh no, there's 5 because it was 3 plus 2. So
Oh.
and then plus 2 if you have mines.
Yeah.
Okay. Michelle.
Back.
And it's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
Furnish a dwelling. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 3. Normal done. And the baby. Whalen? Do you have another player or?
Remember, it would be collected.
And Michelle.
And then we have
I
to
don't
pay
have
one.
any. Yeah.
Here.
Why do we have to pay 3?
And I'm gonna take
This is 3 food, right?
Okay, well hold on. Let's come home. Let's
Oh
go
yeah.
1, 2, make sure people have spaces to live.
Yeah, they have them.
So you're gonna need to feed 6 food because you have 3 people, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, not
thought you
6
said
because we're in 1
three,
person,
yeah.
3, yeah. And I need to do 4, 2,
So,
and
this mix.
2, yeah.
So, is this 3?
And I got that good for 4.
And Trixie shows us 3.
That's 3.
Wait. Yeah,
Leila, you fed your 1 per person?
why are those rubies there?
Because she gets to take 1 at the beginning of each turn.
Oh, cool. I'm a ruby there.
Another space for Michelle to play. And this is the 3rd red one. So on this one, you either have to skip the field phase where you draw your vegetables and fruit, or skip the breeding phase where you don't get any babies. So you have to decide, do I want to have babies or do I want to get vegetables?
Oh shoot, I haven't been getting my sheep baby.
We haven't had one for a few turns.
Oh, okay.
Alright. And Michelle's figuring out what she's going to do. I'm going to start in 2.
I'm not feeding mine because my donkeys feed mine. Is that what you're asking
I'm
me?
not asking anything.
You're not.
Nope.
Why?
Nothing to ask. 3.
You don't?
I need 1 piece of wood. Michelle got that. And 2 pieces of wood here. 1 piece of food I got. 3 or... You did this, Michelle?
Yeah.
Did you just add a pumpkin or just a wheat?
I had both.
I think it's just a wheat.
Oh,
Yeah, it's totally. I need a big asterisk on whatever score I get. And lose. Dog.
sheep. Donkey.
No. 1 I
Oh,
got.
sweet, yes.
Plus 1 crystal. Oh, God.
Okay, thank you.
Whalen, you're still starting player?
Mhm.
Do it. Oh, come on. Stop taking my spot, people.
Take my dog. And which one of these? Not paying any attention for a lot of that.
I feel like I'm the same way. Like I don't know what's
What's your
going on
question?
right now.
Which one of these do you think would be
You
better?
can't afford any. Well, oh, you've got rubies. So
One for 2 doors.
just you remember you have to figure out what you can afford because you've got rubies which you can buy stone or whatever. But
Can I do this? Oh, shoot.
can you
I
get
don't
there?
think I
1,
can.
2. No, you don't have that.
That sucks.
I mean, if you don't go there now, you could take wood.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Which of these woods? This has 2 food and this much wood. 2, 4, 6, 7, and 2 food, or 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, or 2, 4, 6.
Well, I would take 9.
And then put the dog back.
Harley, are you helping? You're a good helper. Thank you for
9
helping.
wood. Leila, you are up.
Wait, do I get it or
No, you don't get it till next.
And
Now you still
on
have
this card,
to yourself for that. Harley,
is
Yeah.
there like limits for how many you can buy at a time? Like, can you buy
No.
any?
Yes. You can buy them whenever, and you can duplicate. You can combo them anyway.
Yourself to get more.
ow.
Sorry.
Hi, Hardy. Hi, Mom. I feel like I'm in deficit. Real deficit in some ways. I'm gonna take a bath. And I'm gonna take these down. And I'm gonna put this here and put 2 feet. And then that goes to 11. You're a helping helper, Hardy. You're a nice girl. Our kids have not bred for a while, we were just saying, correct? Our little sheeps.
I have a little possum dogs.
Dylan, you're up.
Carly, you're stabbing me, hon.
Okay, so I have to grab the stone.
He's
Leila, you're up.
grabbing the stone.
Leila?
Oh,
So
fun.
can I get this right now?
You got it right here, you get, right?
Wait, okay.
Oi,
Or there.
Wait.
oi.
Choices would be it.
Yeah, you'll get on that. A wood, $2. Stone. Is it a food?
And 2 points.
I think she got the gold one. Did you get your bowl?
So,
Okay, I'm gonna do this. One, I need a stone also. Can I just say I picked one because I'm buying this? Drop a stone, furnish this with 3. I'm gonna take another
now what did you buy?
writing chamber. Do you hate that?
No.
Oh no, dang it.
Okay, finish your dwelling. 1, 2, 3, 4. Baby. Whalen? Leila, you're out. Michelle, you're
I'm
done.
Finito, my friends. I think we got a second win mid-game somehow.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
I mean, I don't know about good, but
Feeling great.
I'm feeling
I
a
have
step
no
above a
idea.
comma. You got a lot of gems, I know that. I got a lot of negatives,
Okay,
I
here,
know
I'm gonna
that.
pay this.
Whalen, are you out of people? Was that your last one, or do you still have one more?
I don't know how I'm out of people. It doesn't make sense.
This is my 3rd. And I have one more left. Okay, so I'm going to take this. This. And I'm going to. Okay, everybody come home. Okay, so I am going to harvest my veg and not the animals.
I'm gonna do it.
Who has it starting? So me?
So you.
Oh shoot, my boars are flying around.
3, 4.
Do your donkeys have to be housed in the same place in order to have babies?
7, 8.
Does that make any sense?
Sorry, I was 9.
If I have 2 donkeys and they're in separate minds, do they still make babies?
Yeah.
They do?
Yes, as long as you have 2 donkeys, they make babies.
And my sheep can be watched by a dog in a field. Is that accurate? I think I've been jipping myself out of
Then
donkeys.
that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I chose to skip the breeding phase.
This is okay, a dog watching this guy.
They should be in a pasture or a field. They
Can they be in a field?
not a, they need to be in a no. But do you have anybody? No, you have a donkey. You have a few cows too.
We just had a baby. No, I just want to take this baby from you guys. So I need that sheep.
Yeah, the dogs need to. Okay. And the last one is ore trading. So this lets you trade ore for 2 points plus a food. So for every 2 ore you trade, which you do up to 3 times, you can trade for 2 points plus 1 food. And it's a normal harvest round. And for the final round, we're going to stop everything up. 1, 2, wood. Wood. 2 wood. 1 stone here. Okay, got that. 2 wood.
It's a pig, not
1 food. 1 ruby. That's 1 ruby, babe.
Yes, so there's only. Oh, there's slim on the rubies.
1 ruby here. 3. 4. Give him 2 ore. 1 ore. 1 veg. 1 ruby. One dog. You can skip the dog. Somebody goes there, we'll give it to him. Sheep and donkey. Sheep, donkey, 1 ore and 1 stone. Is there an ore left? Yeah. How about 2 rubies?
There's 1.
So let's leave it blank, and if somebody takes it, then we'll put it on. And Whalen, you start the final round.
and six. So, wait, can I take 2 turns? I can't take 2 turns in a row.
No. No, no.
So I can't do this yet.
That'd be bad now. Nope.
Okay, here. So I'll do that. And then I do have room for this.
You two have room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Mom, why are you yelling, hon?
Yes.
What does this one do again?
You take all that stuff, and then you take 2 additional ore per ore mine you have. Michelle, are you in hunting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whalen, did you play here?
Nope. Right over there. Couldn't right there. Don't have the stuff. Like that.
I'm gonna play there. And I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, plus another stone with a ruby. With a 6 door. And I need the 6 door open.
Shoot. Across the door. Sorry.
I got your dwarf whale. Where does he belong?
In my hand.
I'm done with my whale, you're up.
I know.
Honey.
You can't play over the same spot you played on, right?
No, the only way to do it is this imitation style.
So I go play here.
Okay. You have room for another baby
Yes.
in your house? 1, 2,
We
3.
have this
Oh,
last
yeah,
two.
couple room, yep. And that goes on top of you. So you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Can you let her in?
Come on. Stop the barking. Who's up?
Okay, what's up?
My turn?
I'm going now.
No, still Leila's. No,
Oh.
it's not. I'm just trying to figure out because I need 2 more pieces of ore, but there isn't anymore.
What do you need?
2 more pieces of ore, but there's not anymore.
Oh, are there any other smelter pieces?
Yeah.
So, that should be right here. So, let's create this 4. And then, so that's for 4. And you only need to gain 2, right?
Yeah.
So 2.
Okay, these are the 3 I just picked up, and I need 2. I need
Yeah. So 3. We're going to make this into 4, so I need to change back. So I need 2 back, right? Gosh darn it, why are these number cards so hard for me to do? Alright. You have everything you need and you need 4, right?
I need 2.
You need 2. Okay, so that's plus 3. So I need to take 1 of them. And you're doing your expedition yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Here. How much do I do? Okay, Whalen, you're up.
Okay, so what am I gonna do here? So I'm gonna take. Can you take that and take 2 food over your own?
Here.
Yes.
So you pay 2 food and then you can say I'm going to play any spot that somebody's
Can
already.
I do this for 2 food?
Mhm.
Okay, sweet. So I'm gonna play these here.
Okay.
Can I get the 6 dwarf with this?
No, the 6th dwarf, there's only the 6 can only live here. So,
Okay, so I can't do that. So I can do that.
and where are you? What spot are you activating?
Oh, wait, take that back. How many rubies are supposed to be here?
2.
2?
This is legal.
Yeah, you actually got 2 sheep with 1
And
dog.
this is gonna have
3
3
sheep with 2
rubies.
dogs.
Okay, so this is gonna have 3 rubies. And I need 1 more ruby. Boom. And
A
it's
lot
still
of
have another
rubies.
trip.
Okay. Leila,
So,
do you have any doors left?
no, I don't.
I don't either.
Alright.
I only
So
had
are we,
2.
so are we feeding 2 per?
Yes.
No, but I'm still gone.
At the end of this wheel is
Yeah.
the answer.
Yeah.
Zoe, are you helping?
Oh,
Here, we'll take the dog,
mm,
and I'm going to pay 1 wood using a ruby.
We are
Really?
almost there, guys.
Boom, chain.
This is the hardest game of the week. I promise.
Whalen.
I'm gonna shoot here. So that gives me 2.
And there isn't. Oh, there's one. Ooh. Oh, sorry.
Do rubies cost anything at the end of the game?
They count for a
For what
point.
is?
Okay, sweet.
I don't have any.
I'm going
I
to
don't have any
go
rubies.
So I do nothing with my coal.
here. I'm going to pay 2 food. I'm going to gain a dog.
Gold coins count as
Mhm.
positive
I'm gonna pay 2 1.
points.
Yes. 2 and 1 to buy this. Whalen, you're up.
Look at you, just
I don't have
Filling
any-
your
I don't have
cavern.
any other- Fixing this up.
I like how your sheep are perfectly lined up. It's like a sheep show.
Okay, there we go.
Sheep. Okay.
Sheesh, there's so many animals. Including yourself.
He's working on a factory farm. It's a commercial operation.
Really quick.
Oh my god, that is ridiculous. Those dogs
Oh,
and that
they can't
sheep.
move there. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shoot. I'm gonna kill a sheep for food plus a ruby to make it into a cow. Really quick.
Hmm.
I don't know how that works, but
That sounds cheating, but fine.
it's a happy cow. I'm done. I already cheated. so it doesn't
Why are your donkeys lying down?
matter. We're done. All right.
Oh god. That was foul.
Okay, everybody comes home. It's a normal harvest.
Everyone comes home. Yay! Yes, everybody!
Make sure you have room for your doors.
I do, because I'm only two of me, like at the start.
Me too.
We're a happy couple without our little creepy dwarf babies.
Okay, and then harvest,
I don't have any harvest.
and then feed your dwarves. So that's
I'm gonna feed them.
5,
Wait, so I take this? Oh, I take, how much of my harvest do I take?
5,
Oh,
10.
Can we get babies now?
Yes, and we get babies.
Yes.
11, 12.
Cow, and then donkey.
Ooh,
and
sweet. Wait, so that means I get, wait, do I get a pig? Or, no, there's no room for the pig. Okay, I see. So I get a sheep.
That's right. We'll do that, and then we get babies. Pig, sheep, donkey. Milling the pig.
Okay, that's 3.
Now the
3, 4,
Clemmy, enough of the yelling, honey.
Hit the donkey origin. I'm gonna make it the babies. This. Him. The sheep. I think unfortunately is just gonna die.
Pretty bad.
And that's what that sheep.
Are sheep helpful at the end?
1 point apiece for animals. Okay,
Wait, I'm not done.
that's okay. Michelle's gonna start. How many animals do you have, Michelle?
Counting dogs too.
Yes. And so 2.
18. Clemmy, you're being a naughty monkey.
21. Millen?
How many what?
How many animals, including dogs, do you have?
Wait, including got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Leila.
5.
Seems to be at all dogs. Alright, per missing farm animal, you get -2 points. So if there's the sheep,
I only have 2 farm animals.
so
Sheep, cows, pigs,
pigs,
and
donkeys.
donkeys.
Oh wow.
Sheep,
I only have
cows,
one.
pigs, donkeys.
I
Yeah,
forgot
sheep.
about that.
And
Yes.
And pigs. So you're missing cows, and so -4.
Everything
-6.
but
Okay.
pig.
Per grain that's not in your field but harvested, it's half a point apiece. So 1
I don't
point
have
per.
any brains.
So I have 3 grains.
So 2 points for you. Leila, any grain?
Yep.
Vegetables, not in the field, just
Veggies.
harvested. So
Uh, 2.
2, Michelle.
2.
2.
1 for me. 2 for Whalen. 0 for you. 1 point per ruby.
None.
1 point for Ruby. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10. You had. Oh, you had
None.
none. I had 1. 10 for Whalen. 4 for. 1 point per dwarf.
2 for me.
6.
For you?
5.
Okay.
Unused spaces, -1 apiece. -2 for me.
Wait, let me
That's
get
what
one new
field
space.
Counting the fields.
Wait, what does that mean? So
So
that's
including where the dogs are sitting, because they're not.
1,
1,
2, 3,
2,
4, 5, 6,
3,
7, 8, 9, 10.
4, 5, 5. 5.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, did just 2 count as 1?
No, so that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh,
maybe?
okay.
Clemmy,
Okay.
shut.
Michelle, 9, because you had your, right, so 0.
Yeah.
Okay. Furnishing tiles, pastures, mine. So anything on it that has a number, not an asterisk, just numbers, count those. The asterisk we'll get later.
Wait, not the what?
Some things have like an asterisk, like.
No.
No,
No.
you're good. Just count all the numbers for you.
Okay.
16.
9 for Leila.
19.
19 for Whalen. And 8, 12, 13, 14, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Yeah, you just creamed everyone.
Yeah, but I get an asterisk because I cheated in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, here's a
Parlors, storage chambers, storages, and chambers. So these are. So I've got 3 chambers.
14.
14.
Wait, which
Well,
is,
this is
wait,
three
which
per
is the
person.
Yeah.
chamber?
Then it's storage.
Which is the chamber?
Storage.
So I have
2
one
storage.
per.
Oh, I have a chamber.
I have one per
because-
2 ore. And
Wait,
then
what's the store?
one per 1.
Which one's the chamber?
It either says weapon storage or writing chamber or supply.
They would have a
storage.
little
It's
asterisk.
usually a yellow.
And they'll usually have an asterisk like that on to tell you need to count that at once.
I didn't. I counted this previously in the negative. I didn't count.
18, let's do something. 18, and then it is, 2, Leila, where are we at?
F 30.
30-30?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gosh darn.
Wait, what was that counting for? That last one?
These
Oh,
things.
and then gold coins and begging markers.
Storage? Oh shoot, I don't have any.
6 of those.
6 gold coins for Leila. None for Whalen.
No, I have 6 gold coins. I have
Oh.
2.
2 for, and nobody had begging coins. That's pretty good.
You got my 8. I think you won.
I don't count. I totally cheated. 20.
Why are you a cheater?
It was
I
total.
thought you said cheating wasn't allowed.
50.
Yeah.
60.
Didn't he have a whole like lecture about how cheating isn't
Yeah,
allowed?
I totally cheated. My score doesn't count. So whoever comes in, I think you might have beaten me.
Whoever
Right?
comes in second, first.
50, 58,
You guys like this one? There's a lot going on, huh?
Yeah.
2 cheater, I'm gonna write right here, cheater, okay, 4, 6, 7, 8, 18, 23, 13, 34,
Oh my god, that's
Leila.
terrible.
It's not
negative
terrible.
1, 3, 5, negative 5, plus 4, 34, 40. Michelle wins. Andrew cheated. Leila came in second, and then I came in third. Good job.
You just very good
Thank
job.
you for tuning in. Stream, wave to the stream. You've been on TV the whole time. Hi. All right, we're gonna sign off for today. We'll be back. Watch the vlog. Oh. I'm like, I don't know what you're telling me. And